Hey guys, welcome back to Women Who Move, the podcast where we celebrate women who are creating real meaningful change through leadership, resilience, and a commitment, to lifting up others. Today's guest is a woman whose influence across the Gold Coast hospitality industry is truly remarkable. She's a driving force behind the Gold Coast's most loved dining spots across Broadbeach, Nobby Beach, Miami, and Burleigh Heads, all of which have become standout venues on the coast, known for not just their success, but also for their culture and all the opportunities that they have created, not just for young men, but for women as well. She's a respected leader, she's a mentor, and she's a passionate advocate for women entering hospitality in particular. She was recently named Gold Coast Woman of the Year, and her impact reaches far beyond her own businesses. She's really shaping the future of the industry itself, I would say, all whilst being, guys, she's an incredible mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister, and she's a massive force behind the community when it comes to Gold Coast causes like Baby Give Back, which is one that I absolutely love. Simone Tunbridge, welcome to Women Who Move. It is absolutely wonderful to have you here. I am a little bit fangirly, I have to admit.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be invited on a podcast.
Oh, is this your first podcast?
Yeah, it is.
Mate, this is so easy. You will be fine. All right, let's start from the beginning. So hospitality, it's obviously extremely demanding, fast-paced, and definitely unforgiving at times, but it's also really rewarding. How did you first find your way into this industry? What drew you to it? Like, was it always a path that you kind of saw yourself going into, or did it evolve over time?
Absolutely not. I got into hospitality by my then partner, Scott. Mm-hmm. He had a cafe in Nobby Beach and wanted to expand, had always been in hospitality himself. And I was a CFO for a furniture company.
Ah, okay.
So when we got together, he just had always had this as a clear path for himself. So we went into another venue. Yep. I did both jobs at once.
At the same time?
Yep. And I got to the point where I was like, this is too much. So we decided that we would go all in. So I resigned from my job, and then that was it.
And what establishment was that first?
So the first one was Barcino
at
Nobby Beach.
Yep.
And then we decided to open a burger restaurant in Broadbeach, and that was called Freshly Stacked.
Yeah.
So it was taking a concept that we'd had in the UK. Both Scott and I lived in the UK at the same time but didn't know each other.
Yeah.
So brought the concept to the coast, and it went really, really well.
Yeah, I can tell, because now you guys have got multiple restaurants. As you were building your career, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced?
To start off with, I went to uni and then became a chartered accountant. Mm-hmm. So I went into public practice, where back in those days, so we're talking 30 years ago.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, mate. Yeah.
All the partners were males.
Yep.
All the senior accountants were males.
It's a very male-dominated industry.
Very.
Yep.
And females were junior accountants, admin staff.
Yep.
So it felt, you were not a second-class citizen, as so to speak, but there was a definite shift.
You had to work a lot harder.
Between
to be
whose
seen.
roles were what.
And I guess as a woman now stepping into leadership roles, where there's moments where even back then, did you have to push a little bit harder to be seen or to prove yourself more?
Definitely. And I also, back then, clients would also be, they'd only want to see the partner. They only had faith in the senior accountant. Mm-hmm. So I was very fortunate. My boss was very open to the idea and pushed us all into that right path. So I became a client-facing partner, which was amazing.
When people talk about your career, they often mention not just your accomplishments, which there are a lot, but a lot of people, when I was reading through, was about the way you lead. Looking back, is that something that you're most proud of?
Absolutely. I, as I said, came from a chartered accountant background, and then sort of had never wanted to go travelling or anything like that. So at 27, I packed up my life and I moved to London. With a friend that I'd met travelling like 3 months earlier.
Yeah.
So I took myself out of the world of tax returns and, doing people's accounts.
Had like a gap year.
Almost. Well, actually, it was going to be a gap year that just lasted 7 years.
Wow. Okay.
So I went from public practice into public companies, mm-hmm. and from there my career completely took a different path, but it obviously led me to where I am now.
I love that hearing you pivot, because I think that's something that you do really well at the moment,
Well,
and that could have been something that you learnt then has now taught you to
Definitely.
adjust.
And back then, like when I told my friends that I was moving overseas, they were like, what the hell? Because I was a very stable, this was my life. I was really happy on the Gold Coast. And then I said, you know what? I need to experience other things. And they're like, what do you mean? Who are you?
Who are you? What are you doing? You were like the girl, always dependable. Like,
totally.
And that's, I guess it's what people have that opinion of accountants as well. And that sort of, I love that you took the risk. And that's when a lot of the women that I interview here, it is a moment where they've gone, I'm going to have to back myself. I have to choose myself. All the successful women I've had on have all actually had that moment.
Yep.
And just gone, something needs to change, and have followed their gut. Never underestimate a female's gut instinct.
Absolutely.
It is so strong.
Yep.
You're currently experiencing some incredible success with the restaurants. And obviously that doesn't happen by chance, especially in such a competitive industry. What has been the most rewarding part of seeing them thrive? Each one of the businesses, one in particular, and is there maybe a story or an event or a situation that really gave you a pinch me moment?
I don't think that there's one small event.
Yeah.
Whenever anybody says to me, oh, I love Hideaway, it's my most favourite restaurant.
I have said that. I said that when we walked in.
Yeah, multiple times. Or mention that Bynes got the best chicken wings on the Gold Coast.
Yes.
That honestly, that never gets old to me, and I will smile and I'll think back about a conversation that I've had with somebody who said that exact same thing.
Yeah.
Or like I said earlier, like Hideaway looks nothing from anything from the street frontage, but that was the idea. That's why it's called Hideaway. And you walk in and you see the graffiti walls and you see the umbrellas out the back.
You do transform when you walk in there. If anybody hasn't been to Hideaway, it is just, it's an experience. It's more than a dining experience. It's a whole package.
Yep, and that's what we set out to do. So that's a pinch me moment for me, because I still get that when I walk into my own venue, which is great. I'm also very proud of everything that led us to get to this part. So we've had, I think I counted the other day, maybe 11 venues along the way. So each one of them has led us to the next one, bigger and better, but also the ones that we've sold along the way. It just means that somebody else values what you've done, what we've done, and they've wanted them to succeed as well.
That would be really rewarding, seeing someone come in and take over a business you'd set up and see their vision come true through what you've created.
Yeah, and how they do something that little bit differently. Think, oh, that really works.
Yeah, it would be lovely. Do you ever go back to some of those establishments?
Yeah, like we've got Nobby's Ark next door to Byne, that's the same corner and each of those, every single one that we've sold has always turned into something else, because every new owner puts their new spin on things. So we're equally as grateful for what we've achieved along the way.
I love that as well. You created such a foundation for people to come in and give space to people to be in this industry. What do you think, what do you believe has been the key to those restaurants, and the ones that you've sold and the ones that you have now? What's been the key to the success? Do you think it's a strong culture, which I'll be honest with you, when I did a lot of research coming into this interview, culture and leadership was something that every time your name was mentioned, that was it. Is it something else, entirely, or do you really take that as something that has built your businesses where they are now?
I really believe that they have to work hand in hand.
Yeah.
Everything that you've suggested is sort of our pillars for growth. We've always used each of those to build steps to the next level kind of thing.
Yeah.
What I've found is, obviously they can't all work harmoniously.
Yeah.
When we've found that like culture's low, that's when leadership really steps in, because you've got to find out what the problem is. Is it a person? Is it the customers? Is it a change in menu item that's made this change?
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, like in consistency, when people are saying that dishes aren't being consistent, is that because somebody doesn't care, or our cocktails are changing a taste? Is that a supplier issue? Is that a staffing issue?
Yeah.
And that's where we really need to,
Yeah.
training, exactly. So that's where we really need to then go back to basics.
You've had such a big influence on how hospitality operates on the Gold Coast. As I said, you've got these huge standout restaurants that everybody talks about. Have you seen a change in the industry in the past, 10
10,
years?
15 years for sure.
Yeah. What's that change?
I felt, restaurant dining experiences on the Gold Coast has just exploded.
Yeah.
So we do have a lot of international influence. And we ourselves have taken a lot of inspiration from overseas as well. Originally, Sydney, Melbourne, they were like the leaders, the forefronts of where you would go to have a really great dining experience. But now you've got restaurateurs and chefs who are actually leading the charge here on the coast.
And moving to the coast.
Yeah, absolutely. Or have been a head chef or a chef coming along the way and then gone, you know what, I'm going to back myself and I'm going to take this to the next level, and found a restaurateur that wants to pair with them.
Is that part of the leadership? Like, like I said, pairing now restaurateurs and head chefs and coming in. That's a lot more changing over the past 10 years, haven't? There's a lot more pairing of that.
Definitely.
There's a lot more cohesiveness in that. You haven't just got one person running the show. Now
That's right.
It is a collaboration.
Absolutely.
Is that something that you think the Gold Coast needs a little bit more of right now?
I think that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
I think we're actually seeing owners of venues putting head chefs really at the forefront of how they move forward.
Yeah.
They're giving them a lot more scope to do, the majority of the work from that back end office
making
area.
them be creative and making them have a little bit more of a lead and not just be someone that's put out the back and not recognised.
Yeah, giving them that creation, giving them the space to be creative and backing their ability to do their job.
One thing that as well you're widely recognised for is the way you have championed for women in particular in hospitality, especially those who are entering the sector. Why do you think it's so important to create clear pathways and opportunities for women in your industry?
Well, I feel like women are choosing hospitality as a career now. In the past, they were always second jobs, an extra job to pay the bill, that kind of thing, getting a job through university. So I feel like now it can be a career.
Yeah.
I think in the past, it's always been like, oh, they'll go off and they'll have babies, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And whilst that still happens, I feel like even the nexus of a family environment changes now. So you've actually got a true partnership from a husband and wife, male, female, whatever the partnership situation is.
I have seen a lot more of that, a lot of husband and wives entering and supporting each other so that the wife can have children and can have that, but also come back in and either manage the books when it's a lot more of a partnership.
Absolutely.
Have you noticed a shift as well with the ambition among women working in hospitality, especially now coming up through management, business ownership, and things like that since you begun your journey? Is that something you've seen?
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like because females are taken more seriously now, they're given the same opportunities as what has been handed to a male in the past. And I don't feel like the fight to get there exists anymore.
Yeah. Look, obviously you're known for building, not only building up strong women, but also strong teams. And it really shows, I guess, in the success of your restaurants. What does a great team culture look like for you day to day?
First and foremost, respect.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether or not you're a dish hand, you're the head chef, you're the cleaner, you're the boss. If you don't have respect within your team, you're never going to have a cohesive team.
Yeah.
So, definitely respect.
I definitely get that vibe from you that everyone is treated fairly, everyone is treated with compassion. I do think that's something that women would be bringing to that industry. It is not, I'm obviously from a real estate background, and when I started, it was more male dominated, and it was very much just old school in the way that everyone worked with each other. There was a hierarchy.
Yeah.
I love seeing women like yourself come in, and we just got that, we can show more empathy, we can be more understanding every position. It's probably a bit of a superpower that women have. You juggle business ownership and leadership, as well as advocacy. You do so much for charities on the Gold Coast, all while having a personal life and while showing up with intention. I ask every woman this: how do you manage it all without completely losing yourself in the process? And what boundaries and non-negotiables have you had to put into place along the way?
Well, honestly, I can say that I don't do it 100%. I'm very unsuccessful at a lot of the times. My personality trait is I'm a people pleaser, and I am a control freak. Hand on heart, that's me.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I am right there. Yes.
I do work hard at trying not to be, but when something is not going right, I just need to jump in and fix it, mostly to the detriment of my own personal time.
Well, that's what kind of brings me on is obviously hospitality glorifies that hustle massively.
Yeah.
But burnout's very real. Have there been any times where you've had to slow down or redefine what success looks like for you? And I guess what have those moments taught you?
Absolutely. So when we were sort of in our in our era of opening venues, we'd pretty much get one venue open, up and running, and then we'd be planning the next. And so I remember thinking to myself one day, I just drive from venue to venue all day. And I'm not getting any of my own work done. So that would always mean to me working at nights and working on the weekends with my laptop open at the kitchen bench. And I remember my daughter saying to me, "No more work, Mummy." And I just just one more email, just one more phone call. I've just got to send this text message.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is burnout is real. When we sold Mr. Hazola's in 2022, I think it was.
It's another one of my favourites.
I remember taking the afternoon off, thinking, this is living, Barry, like an afternoon off, and actually not feeling guilty about it, that, you know, that email can wait, that phone call can wait.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to be responsive 100% of the time within 5 minutes of getting a request.
Yeah. This is not in my questions, but it is one thing that a lot of the women share that are in your position, a lot of women that I interview, is a lot of us have daughters. And I always look back, I do the same thing. Just give Mummy a second, or just hold on, like I just need to do this. I do hope that she will look back at that and know that I was a hard worker, and it didn't mean that I wasn't necessarily always there for her, but I don't have that luxury. I am driven. It's not because we need it, it's because I'm driven. I want them to see Mummy can work as hard as Daddy, and that is going to be normal to her, is to see me working from the kitchen bench. Like, I've burnt so many things, having the laptop on one side, having everything cooking on the other side, and kind of jumping between. I think that will be the new normal for our children growing up. And not that, we don't always get it right, but I would hope that my daughters are going to grow up and go, okay, we can have it all that they want.
Yep, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And I think that if you asked our daughter, I mean, that's all she knows. Yeah. She's only ever grown up being inside a venue.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I remember taking her to a meeting at Freshly Stacked after I'd had her. She was probably 6 weeks old. She was born preemie, so I pretty much didn't leave the house for a couple of months. But my first meeting back at the restaurant, she was parked in a pram underneath the dishwasher. And she would come to meetings and I'd put her carry, you know, when we used to have the old ambulance carry things in the car. Yep. That would come and sit on the bench with us and have a meeting, and suppliers would walk in and go, "Oh, there's a baby." I'm like, this is how it comes now.
Yeah. Oh.
So she only knows being brought up in venues. I've got a photo of her in absolutely every venue we've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
You know, lockdown, she was in there because, you know, we had to.
You had to.
Yep, she was. We couldn't take her to school, so she was in doing what we were doing.
I didn't even ask about that. Was one thing I didn't put in.
Please don't.
No, it's okay.
Don't bring the trauma up. No.
Trigger
No, you can. Of course you can.
Yeah, that would have been a really hard... I didn't put that in the questions because I do send all of our guests questions just to give them, like, not all of them. I throw a few ones in there. But, yeah, how was COVID for you and lockdown? And
it was hell. We had literally just opened Nobby's nightcap a couple of months beforehand, and then we sort of, once all the news was sort of transpiring, we pretty much had to tell 99 staff members that they didn't have a job. We had a lot of internationals working for us, like student visas, all that kind of stuff, so they were literally stuck in the country with no money. We had 4 venues full of food that we couldn't let go to waste, so we took everything back to our production kitchen. And we would make meals up for everybody. Yeah. We had some crazy lock-ins where we needed to get rid of alcohol. We had some pretty epic parties.
Oh, that would have been...
don't tell the government. But it was tough. It was the worst timing. It was hard to recover.
Yeah.
And we did everything by the book. You know, the minute that we were told we could open with 10 people, we did. We were booked out, you know.
You guys would have been.
Yeah, absolutely. So we did everything that we possibly could, but mainly because we wanted our staff to have jobs again. Yeah. So we wanted those guys to be
able to work and provide for their families. And
that's exactly right.
I think your industry is something that I really do feel was overlooked through COVID. I think that it wasn't given, I look, obviously I'm a Burleigh local, so, and it's such a restaurant capital kind of the Gold Coast, and so obviously a lot of friends and family and things like that are attached to the hospitality industry, and I do think that was one thing that wasn't really kind of I just don't believe it was looked after or spoken
Yeah.
about enough. So thank you for sharing that, because I didn't put that in here.
Yeah, no, it was like if I look back, I remember the really tough days, but then I actually remember things that bring me so much joy. Were like, we pivoted really quickly at Mr. Hazola's, and we set up a takeaway option as soon as we could.
Yeah.
We had Paige standing at the front door taking people's orders, and then we had this massive big line of food coming out of the kitchen, and like we couldn't keep up with what people wanted. We would have, you could book food for that night starting at 4 a.m. We would get in at 9, and we would have it would almost be sold out. It was just, people wanted connection as well. So even if it was walking out to get a takeaway,
Some
it
of the
was
things,
great.
From someone who did actually order takeaway from Mr. Hazola's through COVID, do you guys remember did you write things on the bag? Or there was little,
That was all Paige. That was
little
Paige's
notes
idea.
on
Yeah.
the bag.
Thank you for your support. You've kept me in a job.
It made you feel, it did. You weren't able to sit in a restaurant, but because obviously we only live not that far from Mr. Hazola's, that was one thing I remembered, is the notes on the side of the bag. Wow, that's so bizarre. This is like a pinch me moment.
Yeah, even at Bine, we would just have a line of people out there. We would just pick a couple of dishes every night, and literally they would sell out. And like I said, Paige was there all the way. Like, we had to work every night.
Yeah, from someone it was obviously feels like a long time ago now. Those little things really made a difference when you are trapped in a house with 2 small children. In real estate, we still had to work.
Yeah,
my husband's a fireman; he still had to work. Yeah, so I'm at home with the kids, being like, I can't do noodles and dino nuggets anymore. Mummy and Daddy need a night. So we'd do a date night, and we'd order from our favourite restaurants in Burleigh, and we'd go pick it up, and we'd just sit at the table with candles and feel like we were at Mr. Hazola's.
Yeah, so make an experience out of it.
Yeah. For women who are listening and considering a career in hospitality, or maybe at the beginning of their journey, what would you want them to know? What skills or mindsets do you think are essential for a long-term success in your industry?
I feel hospitality's fun. It's hectic. It's you literally run on adrenaline, especially if you're in mid-service. Yep. I think that the best thing about hospitality is you can really showcase your personality. Yeah. You get to talk to people, like if you are that way inclined, and you showcase who you are. Yeah. Become authentic. Yeah. There's definitely people as well, from someone who does dine at a lot of your restaurants, that you get to know their personalities, their chatty, you'll find out whether they're here from overseas, whether they've got kids, or it is it's definitely changed the way the service industry, from someone who does dine out a lot, it's completely different. Yep, absolutely. Your waiter will come over and introduce themselves, tell you about themselves. That wouldn't have happened years ago. That's right. And that's something that we do focus on with our training. Yeah. It's that minute that you walk into a restaurant to the time that you seat the guest, to their first drink, and to the time that they're paying their bill. Yeah. There's always those touch points. Yeah. And when we get reviews, which we do a lot, which is awesome, when a customer names their server in the review, we know that we've done the training right, because they've introduced themselves, they'll tell them a bit about themselves. They do, yeah. They'll have a chat, or this is what I did today, or I'm from here. Exactly. And they're also very interested in about the customer as well. Yes. Yeah. So we when we take Soph, my little one, when she was 5, to Mr. Hazola's, and just trying to find what, I still want, when you have your first child, and you're like, I can keep doing everything I did before. No, not really. You go on a date night, and she's trying to throw the chopsticks around. Yeah. And they came over, and they made it this, I blame you now, because they made it like a karagi. It was like a chicken, rice. It wasn't on the menu. It was off the menu. And they made it for her. She asked for it again. That's not on the menu, Soph. You can't have that. But the wait staff was so caring, so genuine. It's made something this was years ago. So there probably is, I know there's kid-friendly options now. But back then, I didn't know what she would or wouldn't eat. And he made her something. And she loved it. And then also made sure we get the flaming steak. And made sure to move her back. And these are little moments that I remember my whole life. I've taken Soph to Hideaway. Haven't taken Matilda. My little redhead is another level. I don't know if I'm ready to bring her to Hideaway yet, but Soph and I will go quite often for a mummy-daughter date, and it's still it's a beautiful way for a Galentine's as well. Totally. So now just change things up. This is something that we do for all guests. It's called the quick fire round. So I want you to answer the first question that comes into your head. There's no wrong answers. So you ready to begin? Yep.
Okay, front of house or back of house?
Back of house.
Oh.
The accountant in me is, that's my jam.
Okay, I would expect a front of house, like the talking and...
Oh, look, if I could have both answers, I would.
Yeah.
But honestly, back of house, I love systems.
Yeah.
Build me a cracker Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Driving into costs, that's my jam.
I can definitely see
The
it
nerd
with your
in me.
background. Yeah, I can see the background with that. What's your go-to cocktail?
Oh, I've got two.
Okay.
Tommy's Margarita, dinner with the girls.
Yeah.
That's Tommy's Margarita is like
Yes.
that's
Holly is nodding right now. That is Holly's go-to drink as well, everybody. Yeah.
And for a pre-dinner drink, a Hugo Spritz.
Oh, I've never had one of those
Yeah,
before.
so it's like an Aperol.
Yeah.
Except it's made with elderflower liqueur.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like on the slighter sweet side.
Yeah.
But yeah, beautifully and refreshing and not heavy.
Yeah, I'll have to try, like a Sunday afternoon.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Service rush or quiet prep time?
Definitely service rush.
Yep.
I work really well under pressure.
Yep.
My brain just sort of kicks in and I could do 400 things at once.
I am the same actually. If I've got 10 things on the go, I'm actually more focused than I have one thing. One thing I tend to overanalyze at 10 things, I can just get it done. I think
Absolutely.
It's a female thing.
Yeah, and also like I've always gone by, if you want something done, give it to a busy person.
Yes.
And give it to a busy female.
Busy female. Sometimes when I go to a listing presentation, I have to watch if I can say it. But sometimes I'll say, I work with a team of 4 women. We can do the work of 100 men. And then I go silent. And I wait for the wife to go, and she'll laugh. And the husband, he's okay with it. If the husband gets his back, I'm like, no, I'm joking. But I still believe it.
But true.
It's so true. So consistency or creativity?
Well, this is a hard one. In our business partnership, Scott and I work really well because I'm consistent and he's creative.
Okay.
So when one's consistent, the other one's creative. I don't think you can do both.
No, I would agree with it. Or both at the same time.
Both at the same time, that's right. And, sometimes I get creative with things and then he then picks it up and then is the consistent one to follow that through.
Now, what does success look like for you now compared to earlier in your career? This is not a quick fire question. This is one I'm just throwing in there now.
Time off.
Oh,
I
love that.
Yep, success to me now means that I'm not needed.
I think you're still very much needed.
I know, I get that, but by putting in the efforts that I did, success now is those systems are working, so I'm not needed as much. That my team are actually, being able to pick up what they've been taught to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think time off is definitely, or not, not time off as such, but
quality
there's
time,
quality time,
and
business. Quality time doing. When I'm at work, I'm very efficient.
Yeah.
And then when I need to leave early, I can because the systems are there. I was very fortunate last year to take a month off and go to Europe, took Paige away for 4 weeks, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't have put in the groundwork to have those systems in place.
Yeah.
So that they could work without me.
Do you have another holiday booked? What's your next?
So we go away every Easter for a week with a school mums group.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
So that's been in the calendar for 8 years now.
Yeah.
And that's a very good unhinged style holiday. It's a beach holiday.
Yeah.
And it's just whatever goes kind of holiday.
Oh, I love that. And it's just the mums or the dads come too?
No, dads as well. So I think there's now 9 families.
Wow.
So
okay.
it's a fantastic week off, and generally speaking, like because we will go rainbow or whatever.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of internet reception,
Perfect.
so I actually do get a chance of
switching off.
Yeah. And my voicemail says I'll get back to you when I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a very good downtime week for us.
I do really agree with that. Something that I've just started doing is changing my voicemail. So I used to divert my phone, and I still do, but I have learned on a Sunday and I'm taking some time to actually put a voicemail in. I think I'm teaching my daughter's healthy boundaries sometimes when I do that, saying, hey, I will get back to you. You are important, but I'm having this Sunday off for this reason. Simone, thank you so much for sharing your journey. Thank you for being so open as well. Your impact on the Gold Coast hospitality industry and the way that really you've championed women within it is really inspiring. I guess to our listeners, if this conversation has resonated with you, please share it to a woman who is finding their way And as I always say, please keep on moving because your story does matter. Thank you.
Thank you so much.